Hi children, welcome back to Social Science class. Today we are going to start our history chapter, fourth chapter, the first cities. In this chapter we will study about a Bronze Age civilization. So mainly four civilizations flourished during the time of Bronze Age. Indus Valley civilization, Chinese civilization, Egyptian civilization and Mesopotamian civilization. First one I told you, Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization is flourished near the river Indus. Indus Valley civilization it is flourished near the river Indus. Indus and its tributaries. Second one I told, Chinese civilization. Chinese civilization. It is flourished near the river Hangho. Hangho. Third one, Egyptian civilization. Egyptian civilization flourished near the river Nile. And fourth one, Mesopotamian civilization. Mesopotamian civilization. It is flourished near the river Tigris and Euphrates. So these are the main Bronze Age civilization. Indus Valley civilization, Chinese civilization, Egyptian civilization and Mesopotamian civilization. Among these we have to study the first civilization, Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization. So why this civilization is called Bronze Age civilization? Because during this time, during Bronze Age, people extensively used bronze for making their tools, weapons and jewelry. That is why this period is known as Bronze Age civilization. First we are going to study about Indus Valley civilization. So this chapter we will study about Indus Valley civilization. Our first topic, Harappan culture and discovery. When this civilization was discovered. In 1826, East India Company soldier, an East India Company soldier and an explorer in India, Charles Mason, he came across some mysterious brick. He came across some mysterious brick mounds in Punjab. Some mysterious bricks mounds in Punjab. And he thought that they looked like an old castle. It looked like an old castle. 30 years later, in 1857, railway engineers, they found more such type of bricks and they used this brick to build railway line between Karachi and Lahore in Pakistan. That time also they don't know what is actually this brick. They don't know it is the remain of an early civilization. After that, in many years later, in 1921, in 1921, an Indian archaeologist, Dayaram Sahni, he excavated the ruins of Harappa on the bank of river Ravi in western Punjab. So who excavated the city of Harappa? Dayaram Sahni. So an archaeologist, Indian archaeologist, Dayaram Sahni. Dayaram Sahni, he excavated the ruins of Harappa. Dayaram Sahni, he excavated the ruins of Harappa in the year 1921. In 1920, R.D. Banerjee, an officer of Archaeological Survey of India, he discovered another city, Mohenjo-daro, on the bank of river Indus. After that, in 1931, a large-scale excavation was did under the supervision of John Marshall. And excavated similarly they excavated many cities. Many cities were excavated. Now we will study when this civilization was flourished. Indus Valley civilization was flourished between 3000 BCE to 1800 BCE. So when did this civilization was flourished? 3000 BCE to 1800 BCE, which is the first site excavated by the archaeologist Harappa. The first site excavated by the archaeologist was Harappa. That is why Indus Valley civilization is also known as Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization. So the first site or the first city, it was excavated by the archaeologist, that is Harappa. That is why this civilization is known as Harappan civilization. Harappan civilization flourished in between 3000 BCE to 1800 BCE. Now we will study what about the location of Indus Valley civilization. This civilization, I already told you, this civilization is flourished near the river Indus and its tributaries. That is why this civilization is known as Indus Valley civilization. Civilization is mainly located in the northern and western part of India. Northern and western part of India, and it extending from Balochistan and Sindh to Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab and western Uttar Pradesh. That is the location of Indus Valley civilization. So the civilization is mainly found in the near the river Indus and its tributaries, mainly western and mainly northern and western part of India, extending from Balochistan and Sindh to Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab and western Uttar Pradesh. Two most important sites are excavated by the archaeologists, or two important sites of Indus Valley civilization are Harappan civilization, Harappa, and two important sites of Indus Valley civilization are Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Harappa of Punjab and Mohenjo-daro of Sindh in Pakistan. Harappa of Punjab and Mohenjo-daro, Sindh in Pakistan. Mohenjo-daro, Sindh in Pakistan. So these are the two important sites excavated by the archaeologist, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Which is the first site excavated? Harappa. Okay, when this civilization was flourished 3000 BCE to 1800 BCE. So Indus Valley civilization is also known as Harappan civilization. Now our next topic, town planning of the Indus Valley people. So children, this is an urban civilization. So last chapter we studied about people started agriculture and settled life. When the agriculture developed, means what will happen, you know, automatically trade developed, cities developed, and it led to urbanization. The process where cities developed, that is known as urbanization. So Indus Valley civilization, actually it is an urban civilization. Now we are going to study about the town planning of Harappan people. Many of the cities were divided into two main parts. So towns, many of the cities were divided into two main parts, the fortress and lower town. It was divided into, cities were divided into two main parts, fortress and lower town. Fortress and lower town. Fortress and lower town. Fortress is mainly located on the west. Fortress is located in the west, and lower town is located in the east of the city. Fortress was located on the west, on a high ground above the rest of the city. On the high ground above the rest of the city, the high ground fortress are located. West of the city it was located. Fortress was located on a high ground above the rest of the city. And archaeologists identified it as citadel. Fortress was identified as citadel. It was identified as citadel by the archaeologist. And this citadel was usually fortified. It was usually fortified, well protected, and it had an elaborate entrances. Can you tell why the citadel was fortified? This was done to protect the building, from flood. Because you know, children, the where the city was located near the river Indus. So there would be possibility for flood. So the protecting the city from the flood, what they did, the citadel was well protected. It was a fortified city, and the citadel contained important public building, all the important public buildings like granaries, worshipping area, that everything situated near the citadel. Citadel contained important public buildings like granaries. Granaries means the place the place where they stored their grain. That is called granaries. Big buildings where they stored their grains. So the granaries, worshipping areas, that everything situated contained in near the citadel, and below citadel, towards east of the city, there will be lower town. So where the lower town was located, lower town lay below the citadel. East of the city lay lower town. And the historians believe that citadel was occupied by the ruling class, and lower town was occupied by the common people. Okay, actually the historians believing that citadel was occupied by the ruling class, and lower town was mainly occupied by the common people. So this is about town planning in Harappa. So children, the cities are mainly divided into two main parts, fortress and lower town. Where is fortress? Western part of the city, west on high ground, above the rest of the city. Fortress was set up. Okay, and it is identified as citadel. It is also called fortress, that is also called citadel. Okay, then citadel, I already told you, citadel was usually fortified. Why it was fortified? Because to protecting the city from flood. Okay, the city is located near the bank of river Indus. So for protecting the city from flood, it was fortified, well protected. Okay, then I told you what about the public buildings. Most of the public buildings like granaries and worshipping areas, that everything contained in the citadel. And below citadel there is lower town. Below citadel, east of the city, lay the lower town. And historians are believing that citadel is mainly occupied by ruling class, and lower town is occupied by the ordinary people. So this today we mainly studied about Harappan civilization, the location of Harappan civilization or Indus Valley civilization, and one of the feature of Indus Valley civilization we studied, that is town planning. I think today's topic is clear to you. If you have any doubt, ask me. We will meet in the next class.